because it did offer that soil and that ability to irrigate. So the geography of Mesopotamia. Raise your hand and tell me what modern day country is most of Mesopotamia found in? Damien. Iraq. I promise you, you will see that question on your assessment. So make sure that you know that. We talked about the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. We talked about the Fertile Crescent. Where do those two rivers empty? Into what? There's a map right up there, and there's also a clue. There's also a clue right there on the screen for us. The Persian Gulf. So, let's see if we remember the answer to this question, because it took us a long time to get this answer when we first asked it. Where do the Tigris and Euphrates rivers start? In what physical, geographical location do the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers start? We'll give you a visual. They start up here, they flow down across the desert into the Persian Gulf. So when they start up here, what is this geographical feature of where these two rivers begin? They begin in what type of geographical feature? It's not on this screen, it's on the next screen. I want to see what we remember.
Yo.
It's not too difficult if we think about tall geographical landforms. There's only really 2 or 3 that we can even talk about. And trees would be incorrect. So that eliminates one of them. The question is, where did the Tigris and Euphrates rivers begin? What geographical feature?
A lake. The mountains.
The mountain. So, the Tigris and Euphrates start in the mountains, they flow down through the desert, and they empty into the Persian Gulf. So, there it is, first bullet. The rivers flowed from the mountains down to the Persian Gulf. Early settlers farmed the land and used resources from the land to improve life. So it tells you they used timber for wood to build boats. They used metal and stone to build tools. Let's see if anybody remembers. We'll give you a minute to see if you remember this. When we talked about Babylon yesterday, we talked about Babylon being an empire during a certain time period. Not the years, but during a certain age. We talked about the Assyrians being an empire during a certain age. What is the age that the Babylonian Empire took place during? And I'll give you a hint. It's what their tools and weapons were made out of. Danny. Yes, but I want to know what metal. What age was the Babylonian Empire during? Yeah.
The Bronze Age?
The Bronze Age. So, the Babylonian
yes,
Empire
I
was
just
during
guessed
the
and
Bronze
got it
Age, so
correct.
they had bronze tools and bronze weapons because that's the metal that they were dealing with. Anybody remember what age the Assyrian Empire was in? It was a different metal.
The Iron Age?
I'll get it. Nobody get it. Wait for me.
The Iron Age.
Iron.
So, the Syrian Empire took place and
I
rose
need
to
to sort
power
them up.
during the Iron Age.
No, we don't need the money.
It depends on which one to approve. I gotta have that.
All the way on the side of your
Yeah,
head.
a lot of people will think that.
Adriana.
Okay. So it says the early settlers farmed the land and used resources from the land to improve life. Cities developed along the rivers, and early settlers had to irrigate the land along the banks of the rivers in order for their crops to grow. So remember that irrigate means to get from its source to another location. That's what irrigation is. So then we talked about creating order in these Mesopotamian civilizations. Due to a rising population, it was necessary for them to create systems in order to maintain order. So the first system that they used was division of labor. Everybody was given a job in the civilization to help create a successful and well-rounded civilization. Every person was given a job. The second system that they used to create order was social hierarchy. Once you had your job, a person was then ranked into a rank on that social hierarchy system. The rank of a family was determined by the job that the person had. And then jobs that were hard labor were always at the bottom of the social pyramid. So we talked a lot about the social hierarchies and the social structure and the social pyramids of Mesopotamia. Independent empires made the large area of Mesopotamia easier to control. If you remember the map from yesterday, for those of us that were here, we had a lot of cities. Not all of them belong to one of the three major empires that we were discussing. But eventually, those cities that did not belong to those empires were eventually conquered and absorbed into the empire. Let's see who remembers this. When the Assyrians would conquer a city, what did they do with the population of that city that was left after they conquered the city? It was in that video that we watched on Assyria. They talked about what happened to the population that's left over once they conquered a city. What did they do with it? Two things. Bill.
Kill.
They did that during the battle, but of the ones that were left alive after the battle, what did they do with them? Amy. Okay, so
Yep.
one was they made them slaves. Two, where did they put them?
Probably like a dungeon or something.
Not in a dungeon. They moved them where? Damien. Not necessarily the main city, but they did move them where? Away from the city that was just conquered, and they put them where? In a different city. Why did they put them in a different city?
I know. Nobody. So so that they don't revolt and end up taking over.
Okay? Because they were trying to cut all ties to their previous city, their previous empire, their previous ruler, whatever it was. They would take the leftover population, they would make them slaves, and they would move them to another city where they had no connections, so that they didn't have to worry about them trying to overthrow the Assyrians. So the first empire that we talked about was Samaria, the city of Sumer. We're not going to make you memorize the dates, so don't worry about that. The empire of Sumer had many cities that shared the same culture and traded with one another. Here's the part that you absolutely need to know about the Sumerians. These three inventions that they are known for. The agricultural society, which created that surplus of food. The wheel, which was used on plows and was used on carts. And then cuneiform, which was the first writing system. So, three things that made the Sumerians memorable. The food surpluses, the wheel, and the cuneiform, the writing system. The second empire we talked about, we actually talked about it third, but the second empire was Babylon. So Babylon existed from 1800 to 1200 BCE, and is known for two major inventions: the calendar and the laws, the code of laws from Hammurabi. Now, we've read some of the laws of Hammurabi. Were they nice laws?
No.
No, they were pretty harsh. So why did the people of Babylon not revolt against Hammurabi and his laws when he introduced them? Because the people thought what, Damien?
They get punished for it.
That's not what we're looking for, though. They thought they came from where? From the gods. So the people of Babylon thought that the gods gave Hammurabi the laws, therefore they did not revolt against those laws because they thought that they were divinely given to the king, and then the king was implemented. So that's why there was no pushback on those laws. Then, if you did your assignment from last Friday, you would have watched the video on the Hanging Gardens, so you would have a little bit of understanding about the Hanging Gardens and what they meant to the civilization of Babylon. You may have a question on that. I haven't decided yet. So the people who lived in Assyria were called the Assyrians, and that's the third empire in terms of years. We talked about Assyria being fierce warriors with many war strategies. What did we say their biggest What did we say their biggest military tactic was to overtake a city? Siege tactic. What is meant when we say siege tactic? What does that mean they did?
They took away food and water.
Okay. What else? What's the very first thing that they did when they came to a city that they were trying to conquer? They were surrounded. When they surrounded it, what did that do? It cut off supply routes. It cut off their ability to reinforce the city. It made them run out of food and supplies. They were not able to get reinforcements into the city to defend it. So there's a whole lot of things that surrounding that city did. Because she's not on the path. It's not. Go. Okay. Alright. So, along with these war tactics, there were two things that they were known for. Trade, using boats to trade goods, and war, trying to take over other areas even if they had walls to protect them. So, that's the two things that you need to make sure you understand about Assyria. You can see a question that might say, what military tactics were the Assyrians known for? And the answer would be what? Siege tactics. So, make sure that you know that. Talking about religion in Mesopotamia. All three empires practiced what?
Polytheism.
Polytheism. So they were all polytheistic, meaning that they believed in many gods.
I don't like all of this stuff.
They thought that there was a god or a goddess assigned to an empire to protect that empire and to guide it. They also felt that there was a god or goddess that was in charge of everything in nature and in daily life. So they thought a god or goddess controlled everything in their life. Interesting concept, but that's a lie. In the middle, each empire had a ziggurat in the center of their land, used for many reasons. I need you to know these three reasons. The ziggurat was used for religious ceremonies. It was used as a school to teach cuneiform writing. And it was used for official meetings with the king. So those three things are reasons that the ziggurat was used. So you need to know the term ziggurat, and you need to know the three reasons that it was used. Alright, map reading. What two rivers run through the Fertile Crescent? Raise your hand and I will call you. Kai, give me one. Tigris. Luke, give me the other one. So Tigris and Euphrates. What body of water do the rivers flow into? The Persian Gulf. What sea is located to the west of the rivers?
We're gonna meet there at 3:38. I don't know.
The Mediterranean Sea. So the Mediterranean Sea. What is the area called that is shown by the color pink on that map? What is that area called? Kai. Mesopotamia. So, questions on that part? Alright, that was a lot of information, most to all of which you are going to see on your assessment next Thursday in some way, shape, or form. It could be an open-ended question, it could be a matching question, it could be multiple choice, it could be true or false. Many different ways that we can give you. So, the next thing that we're going to work on is going to be a comparison of the three major empires that we talked about. Okay.
Take off my support. Here, girl.
Omar.
That big man. You've been sleeping in the trees. Nighty, night, night.
And then you write.
You gotta post like you do.
Because I can only have one person. Okay.
I know, but it's not for every tool. They might can. I don't know. What did it can? Yeah. That's what Miss Elwood.
Okay, let me explain to you how to look at the document. We're going to look at columns first. So at the top, it says category. Not yet. So it says Sumeria in the first column. It says Babylon in the second column. And it says Assyria in the third column. So everybody look back here. So every answer here is talking about Sumeria. Every answer in this column is talking about Babylon. Every answer in this last column is talking about Assyria. Then you have rows. This row is talking about the rulers. So all of these three questions, or these three items, talk about the rulers. Then you have religion, then you have achievements, then you have economics on the back, politics on the back, and social structure on the back. But again, you're looking for Sumeria in the first column, Babylon in the second column, Assyria in the third column. All of these answers are in your notes somewhere. So if you have your notes, you're good. If you don't have your notes, you're not good. So that's not good. Questions on how to do that? All right. Give me a minute. Question. Can you do what? I need you working right now. As soon as she comes back, because I can only have one person.
Can I go to the office? Can I go to the office?
You what?
Go to the office.
No, I'm gonna call her.
But they. So you gonna call the office right now?
Her.
Bro, you're so weird. Like, look at you. You're doing all that for no reason. How am I pass me that, though? Pass me. It's gonna make me mad. Now, if I hit you with it, I'd be dead wrong.
Hit him with.
I really love you. I'm tired of being
Okay, so I'm gonna give number one with you real quick so you can see how to do this. Number one is talking about Babylon because it's in the Babylon column. So the most famous ruler of Babylon was blank, who created a large empire. Later kings included Nebuchadnezzar II. So, who is the most famous ruler of Babylon that we have been talking about? Hammurabi. So on number one, on the line on number one, you are going to put Camarada. H-A.
M-M-U-R-A-D-I. H-A-M-M-U-R-A-B-I.
There you go. That's it.
No.
Yeah. No, we're not.